Spain closed its golden visa in April 2025. Portugal's fund-only model has a 39-month processing backlog. Greece tripled its minimum thresholds in 2 years. Ireland and the UK shut their programs down entirely. Western Europe's investor residency market is contracting fast, but while those closures grab headlines, 3 Western Balkan countries have been building residency pathways that almost nobody is talking about. Albania, Montenegro, and Serbia each offer a route to European residency at price points that would barely cover the application fees in Portugal or Greece. We're going to walk through all 3 programs, what they cost, what they offer, and where the trade-offs are. All 3 countries are official EU candidate states. Montenegro is the frontrunner in the Western Balkans enlargement process, with a stated goal of EU membership by 2028. Albania opened accession negotiations in 2022. Serbia has been a candidate since 2009. None are EU members today, but all are aligned with the EU's orbit. And all 3 passports grant Schengen visa-free travel. For investors willing to look past the established Western European programs, the Balkans offer access and affordability that the rest of the continent no longer provides. And these entry prices won't last forever. As EU accession advances, thresholds tend to rise. If you're interested in exploring all available options across Europe and beyond, IMI's Program Finder lets you sort, filter, and compare more than 275 residency and citizenship programs in 140 countries. Albania's unique permit for investors is one of the least known residency programs in Europe, and one of the cheapest. The program allows foreign nationals to obtain long-term residency by establishing or managing investments in Albania. Qualifying routes include business formation, property purchase, and government securities. IMI Daily's program page lists no minimum investment requirement, which distinguishes Albania from virtually every other European investor residency program. Now, a January 2026 amendment to Albania's law on foreigners may have introduced new minimum thresholds. Some legal sources cite €100,000 for business or government securities and €300,000 for real estate. These figures have not been confirmed by IMI Daily or by official Albanian government publications in English. If you're considering this route, verify the current requirements directly with Albanian immigration authorities or qualified legal counsel before proceeding. You can find and contact specialists in any jurisdiction at imidaily.com. Find a pro. One thing to understand about Albania's program is that it requires active involvement in your investment or business. This is not a passive golden visa where you wire money into a fund and never visit. You need to demonstrate engagement with your investment, maintain tax compliance, and provide documentation, including a certificate from Albanian tax authorities confirming registration and payment obligations. The initial permit is valid for 1 year and renewable. Renewals require proof of continued investment. So what about the path to citizenship? Albanian permanent residency requires 5 continuous years of legal residence. Citizenship becomes available after 7 years total, subject to Albanian language proficiency, demonstrated integration into Albanian society, and a clean criminal record. You must be physically present in Albania for at least 6 months per year to satisfy the continuity requirement. On the tax side, Albania applies progressive personal income tax rates, 0% on employment income up to approximately €5,000 per year, 13% between roughly €5,000 and €25,000, and 23% above that. The corporate tax rate is 15%, and dividends face an 8% rate, competitive by European standards, though higher than Serbia's flat 10%. One major advantage here is dual citizenship. Albania generally permits it. Unlike Montenegro and Serbia, for naturalized citizens, acquiring Albanian citizenship does not require you to renounce your existing passport. For investors who want a European second citizenship without sacrificing their primary nationality, that matters. An Albanian passport grants access to approximately 120 destinations, including all Schengen area countries. That's weaker than Serbia's 138 or a Bulgarian EU passport's 173, but Schengen access covers the primary mobility need for most applicants. Albania is also actively pursuing a citizenship by investment or CBI program. Prime Minister Edi Rama has publicly supported the concept, but Albania suspended its CBI plans pending the outcome of an EU court case examining Malta's program. The European Commission has repeatedly warned Albania to refrain from opening one, calling it incompatible with EU accession. For now, the residency route is the only pathway. The main limitation with Albania is structural. The program lacks the codified precision of Bulgaria's golden visa or Montenegro's new property threshold. Requirements around active involvement and evaluation by a government commission introduce discretion into a process that investors typically prefer to be predictable. The legal framework is evolving, and the rules may look different in 12 months. Montenegro formalized a property-linked residence pathway in January 2026 through amendments to its law on foreigners. What had previously been a loosely regulated route is now a structured program with codified thresholds. Here's how it works. Third country nationals who purchase property with a taxable value of at least €150,000, as assessed by Montenegro's tax authority, can apply for temporary residence. The permit is valid for 1 year and renewable. Property-based residence does not permit employment or business activity in Montenegro. You must prove both ownership and actual use of the property, and all property tax obligations must be current. That €150,000 figure arrived after parliamentary debate, lowered the government's initial proposal of €200,000. Foreign nationals who already obtained property-based residence before the law took effect are grandfathered in and can renew without meeting the new minimum. The citizenship timeline in Montenegro is one of the longest in Europe. You need 10 years of continuous legal residence, 5 on a temporary permit, followed by 5 on a permanent permit. And Montenegro does not recognize dual nationality. If you naturalize, you must renounce your existing citizenship. So why would anyone choose a 10-year path that forces you to give up your current passport? The answer is EU accession. Montenegro has been an EU candidate since 2010 and opened accession negotiations in 2012. It is the most advanced candidate in the Western Balkans. As of March 2026, 14 of 33 negotiating chapters have been provisionally closed. The government aims to close all chapters by the end of 2026 and achieve EU membership by 2028. EU Enlargement Commissioner Marta Kos has said closing all chapters by end of 2026 is achievable, though the 2028 membership target is the Montenegrin government's stated ambition. If Montenegro joins the EU, a Montenegrin permanent residence card would grant Schengen access, and Montenegrin citizenship would become EU citizenship. Investors who buy in at €150,000 today could find themselves holding EU residence permits within a few years. No other sub-€200,000 European property investment currently offers that prospect. Montenegro also already uses the euro, having unilaterally adopted it in 2002. There is no currency risk on property investments. If real estate is your preferred route into European residency, you can find eligible properties on IMI Real Estate, where only listings that qualify for residency or citizenship are collected. Alongside the property pathway, Montenegro introduced a minimum annual tax obligation for foreign business owners. Executive directors and registered entrepreneurs who own more than 51% of a Montenegrin company must show that their company paid at least €5,000 in taxes and social contributions in the preceding year to renew work and residence permits. The measure targets shell companies established primarily to secure residency. Montenegro operated a CBI program from 2019 to 2022 that attracted approximately 1,100 applications and over €400 million in investment. The EU pressured Montenegro to close it as a condition of continued accession progress. The new property-based residency pathway is a more modest successor, designed to attract investment without triggering Brussels' opposition to economic citizenship programs. Serbia's investor visa is the cheapest structured investor residency program among the 3 Balkan countries covered here. A minimum investment of €50,000 in a registered Serbian company grants temporary residence for 1 year, renewable annually. The investment must be documented through a certificate of investment, and applicants need to hold at least €50,000 in a Serbian bank account. The country also offers residency through real estate purchase with no government-mandated minimum investment threshold. You can buy property at any price point and qualify for a residence permit, provided the purchase meets basic legal requirements and your home country has a reciprocity agreement with Serbia allowing property ownership. Temporary residence permits are typically issued within 1 to 2 months, which is fast by European standards. Serbia does require physical presence, 183 days of annual presence for tax residency. The residence permit itself requires you to maintain an address in Serbia, and renewals depend on demonstrating continued ties to the country. The path to citizenship is shorter than Montenegro's. Permanent residency becomes available after 3 continuous years of legal residence. Serbian citizenship follows after 3 more years of permanent residency, for a total timeline of approximately 6 years. Dual citizenship rules are nuanced though. Standard naturalization generally requires renunciation of prior citizenship. Exceptions exist for ethnic Serbs, spouses of Serbian nationals, individuals who acquire citizenship by descent, and those granted citizenship by exemption for contributions of national interest. If your home country prohibits or doesn't facilitate renunciation, Serbia may waive the requirement. But consult an immigration lawyer before assuming dual citizenship is available through the investor pathway. On tax, personal income is taxed at a flat 10%. Corporate income faces a 15% rate. These are among the lowest in Europe. A Serbian passport grants access to 135 destinations, including all Schengen area countries, China, Russia, and Japan. Serbia is one of very few countries whose citizens can enter both Russia and China visa-free, while also enjoying Schengen access. For investors from countries with restricted passports, that combination is unusual. EU candidacy progress has been slow. Serbia has been a candidate since 2012, with accession negotiations opening in 2014. EU membership is unlikely in the near term, which means Serbian residency does not carry the same EU accession upside as Montenegro's. The program has attracted substantial interest from Russian nationals, who now lead foreign property purchases in the country. Belgrade and Novi Sad are the primary markets. The combination of low entry costs, favourable tax rates and Serbia's diplomatic proximity to both Russia and China has made it a popular destination for investors from both countries. If you want to stay current on programme changes across the Balkans and beyond, IMI Daily's newsletter covers them all. Link in the description. All 3 programs are live and accepting applications. None will show up in a typical search for the best European golden visas. They occupy a different tier: affordable, underexplored, and positioned in a region the EU is actively working to absorb. Whether that absorption happens on the timelines these governments promise is an open question, but the residency permits are available now. If you're considering one of these countries but want to understand where else in Europe you can keep your tax bill low, check out our video about low tax regimes in high-tax Europe. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet.